much for you.
And we're live. Hello. Welcome back. Patrick and I are here. My name is Morgan. This is Patrick. He is a query rewriting guru, as evidenced by his tagline, "The Query Helpline." And I am a huge fan. He claims I inspired him. I'm not half bad, and everyone knows it's infinitely easier to rewrite somebody else's query or synopsis than your own.
Not even thinking about your own yet.
Right? So, welcome back, everybody who came to see the glory, the shattered hearts that we rip out with our editing pens.
Tenderly-ish.
Tenderly, very tenderly,
We mean well, but
thoughtful intent.
when people do things that they could do better at, we do things to them that we mean well, but
okay. So let's go ahead. You're not here to listen to us talk. You're here to watch us brutally
assault words.
Rip these things to shreds. So
okay, I see what you did here.
We're starting off with the synopsis. I'll read it, the initial version for you, while Patrick delves into it. Amadale Stone, a teenage girl, was growing up with her aunt and uncle in a small town where she falls under the radar. Never wanting to be one who stands out, things change when she wakes up on her 16th birthday. She isn't in her house, but in a forest. To make matters more confusing, Amy watches as her teddy bear, one she's had her whole life, changes right in front of her into a full-size live bear. Torn between curiosity and fear, Amy lets the bear Gasper lead her to her first knowledge tree, Oak. Holding back all her questions at first, Amy learns that she is in Carn, a world separate from what she knows, a world that her aunt Danielle took her from when she was 3 years old, a world her parents existed and lost their lives in for her. In addition to learning about this new world, Amy learns her bear, who always protected her from nightmares, is her guardian bear, and his sole purpose is to protect her. So I'm a little off because I hear teddy bear guardian and I think middle grade or younger, but the character is 16, so this is clearly going to be a YA.
Yeah,
so I guess for age, maturity, and the fact she's off on her own entirely.
Well, I mean, we can do some things in here to make clear this isn't, Teddy Ruxpin type thing, but this is something more, mature.
Right.
It's about showing it honestly, just like with anything else. I mean, you can have Harvey, the movie with Jimmy Stewart and the Little Rabbit from a while ago. That could be any age range. It's a matter of how you do it.
Definitely. There was a rated R movie with that animated teddy bear thing.
I saw a middle gradish presentation of a sort of an Easter Bunny origin story with my kids like a couple months ago. It's got adults in it, but it's for kids because that's how it's done. So this would be a matter of showing this bear, having advanced, and you'd also want to have the nightmares showing earlier in the thing because always protecting from nightmares. If that's a big deal in the story, then you show it up top, right? Just like I know from the query that she has her birthday early. We don't see the birthday party. We don't see that, because normally a birthday party is on the day of, but this is early, and so there's details that we could incorporate because we don't have a full page here. So that's how many times.
Thank you. Lynn is watching and remembered it's called Ted. Yeah. Teddy bear doesn't mean it's juvenile. It's just you're gonna have to make sure your pitch makes that clear. The age range. So while in Carn, Amy learns about different types of people. Although this is the synopsis, not the query, so clearly the query can do other stuff to.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I made sure.
While in Carn, Amy learns about different types of people, how some have special gifts that all manifest differently. Gasper reveals her first gift, air. She learns there are impossibly high expectations gifts for both her and her gift. Amy finds friendship in another nymph named Dally. Where's the first nymph? Starting to travel with her before being captured by the Mad King's guard, Edsel. There's Mad King. Trapped in the dungeon, Amy meets an old friend of her father's, an elf named Elephant, who has been a prisoner since she left all those years ago. Since Amy left all those years ago, and discovers his second gift, fire. Using this gift, she and Elephant escape into the night. Elephant shares information about the past and what her parents were like. Once Amy gets back to Gasper, he introduces her to people he called on while he planned a rescue mission to save her. Oak and Gasper. Oak. Oh, the knowledge tree Oak is a sentient? Okay, that was unclear. Oak and Gasper are reluctant to share with the information they share with Amy, not wanting to overwhelm her. Together with Gasper, Dally, and Elephant, Amy travels through Carn, avoiding the main paths, gaining time to practice her gifts, and on the edge of the Black River, she sparks life into some flowers, discovering her Earth gift. Spending months practicing her 3 gifts, montage music, air, fire, and earth, Amy knows there will be a special stone gift, but is no closer to discovering it as she is to getting home. In her travels, she meets 4 other knowledge trees, spruce, elm, pear, and sycamore, each with their own purposes. Oh, they don't believe in Oxford commas, which is a choice. It's a stylistic choice. It's not mine, but it's completely legitimate. After a careless moment, Amy and her friends are captured and brought to the castle. Instead of being locked away in the dungeons, they are in bedrooms, giving Amy more insight into her past. When learning about her connection to Alaric, first time, never heard this guy, Amy is furious about the lies and left out information. Their escape from the castle leads to a battle between Amy and company against Alaric and his guards, leaving Alaric wounded and Amy free for now. Throughout her time, do not scratch my chair. Amy kept hearing about how Carn protects itself and its inhabitants, but after she escapes, she learns how the forest cares for her when it gives her the one thing she needs, time. So, synopsis.
That's it? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Do that thing, because
yeah.
You know, there's a way to do that. Just clicking, right?
Yeah, but
the
amount of clicking, and then
there isn't a keyboard shortcut, which irritates me. I don't see a way to do it automatically. Like make one. Yeah, spar, AR.
We're not gasping for breath.
Yes, that was humorous.
Sentient?
Why are we going? That's weird. Okay. I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't. No. We're not gonna use it. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, because we have the only number up there. If she's not important enough to name up there, then why is she? Yeah. No. Go into editing. In the suggestion mode, you're in editing mode right now. Should be the green thing up top right.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe holds. With holds or questions, is that the? I mean, there's a better way to do it than this Jared crap. Because that's just it.
Yeah.
Amy.
Maybe just say she's still confused. In the audience, Kelly asks, "Are names being capitalized to catch the eye?"
It's a stylistic thing.
In a synopsis, but not in a query, the first time, but only the first time you introduce a new proper noun, you capitalize it.
Yeah.
Just
if
so
it's
we
capitalized,
characters.
basically, when you all cap it the first time. And in Google Documents, there's a way you can do that with mouse clicking. Can you show them how to do that? Just say have it.
Woo! Sorry, I hit the wrong thing.
Tools, no, format, text, capitalization, and then all caps. I think it's the middle option.
I was switching to editing. I think I've been.
Yeah, you've been in it. You got it back in the suggestion just now.
Yeah. So, okay. If you double click on something and you go
format,
to
text, capitalization, all caps. I think it's the middle one. I've done it many times.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things about synopses. I don't know why, except that it just exists. So.
Did I full screen this thing?
Nope.
Okay. Why is my menu weird? I'm missing the other menu. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So you highlight the thing, you go up to format, you go down to text, and you go capitalization, uppercase. Mm-hmm. So if it's a lot, you'll want to do that. If it's like one word, it might be faster just to type it. Mm-hmm. So
there's a better way to write this. I can't think of it right now. It's just vague.
Maybe in the magic.
I don't think we need it. I think either show it. Hold on. Aunt. She was 3 to 8 years old. Escape or whatever. It's just, I mean, it
probably, yeah.
It's just, we just did that. We don't need to say it.
And because we already mentioned,
yep,
we can drop that part.
Okay, learns is inactive. Can we, like, does Gaspar say this?
Discovers.
You.
Gaspar announces that
she wonders, she thinks, she inertly whatevers.
What about Gaspar announces he is her
whatever
guardian?
It is? I don't know because we don't have that the information. But like, it's just a basic aspect. You can you go ahead and do. Oh, don't put a comma there.
I love commas and they love me, okay?
I don't think that, no.
You don't think you think our relationship is only one way?
Let's just say that commas are not sentient. I'm not sure if that tells you what you need to know.
Wait. I disagree. I think we just say, instead
at
of
least
learning,
that, but
make it a statement. In Carn.
Then take out the other eye. Learns that some people have
special gifts.
Okay, we need the
special. Can we just call it magical?
I don't know. Hold on, we can do this better than this. In Carn, Amy learns. Oh, I see. You're taking away from the sort of filter language there.
Rather than her learning, we're just stating it as fact.
Some people Gaspar. Okay, this I'm not. She's inert.
Told that she is.
No. You're giving her you're giving her a passive thing to sit there with. Don't give her passive. Whoa.
Someone tells her. Yeah.
His gift is so vague, and we build the world by showing what they can do. No. Expected shouldn't be a modifier. There should be a verb, because now you can do that. That's her. See? Her gift is vague. We need to build the world by telling.
I'm assuming hero thing is save the nation from the Mad King.
That would be my guess. But I mean, you have room to do it. Number one. Number two, that's the book. I mean, the main plot is girl discovers powers. So you got to tell us what's going on and have us enjoy. It's a fantasy. We're here because we want to see this magical, fun thing that you've dreamt up, right? So. Amy asks how we submit. You submit by, you can throw it at Morgan or you can throw it at me. I'm on Twitter.
Facebook or Twitter, wherever you have our DMs.
Yeah, I'm at author Hopkins, which is spelled the way it sounds. Morgan is at MorganHazelwood. And it's the only place where her name isn't her name, which is a little weird. But it's, that one account.
Someday someone is sitting on the @MorganHazelwood Twitter account with 0 followers, 0 following, 0 tweets since 2010.
Can you not
Twitter will not release the account to me because
they don't have an edit button either? Because they'd rather spend their time changing colors nobody likes and changing the font nobody likes.
Amy, yes, you can submit through the Facebook group. Yeah.
Yeah, I get things in email. I get things in DMs. I get things as documents. We get things in the Facebook group I run. As long as we have it, we have permission. We can use it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can submit stuff to us and not want it to be publicly gone over too.
Yeah, I have a query to work tonight from somebody, and they also want me to work the synopsis privately, which is, I don't care. Fine. I mean, which I actually kind of like because
this takes longer.
Well, it's fun. It's like synopsis. Synopses. There we go. Synopses destroy me, and this makes it easier. But there's also things that happen within this process that take time, that I don't need to do. So.
Okay.
I do have the email account for this, the queryhelpline@gmail.com, but I'm not using it much yet, so I'm going to try to. I haven't set up. I'm going to pop it to my regular Gmail, but I just want to have the brand consistency, but I haven't done that yet. And I also changed my Twitter name to Query Helpline. Okay. Dude, how many times do we see Dally?
Itzel never gets used again.
We don't need Dally's name at all.
A single callback.
We don't need Dally's name.
Okay.
We see Dally twice.
Yeah.
Not with it. We don't need do you even need the nymph? Okay, let's a nymph finds friendship. We can just do and
yes, be friends. Look at that. It's Patrick's favorite, an active verb.
It's just, I mean, people use words they don't need, and we're not trying to save space here. because we don't have 1,400 words to chop down to 700, which is my favorite thing ever.
Lynn
So important. What's up?
Lynn asks if they should have submitted their synopsis too. We much prefer queries, but we're totally fine with synopses.
Queries take me a lot less time. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of back and forth with good editing with the writer. There's a lot of back and forth. And with a synopsis, the amount of back and forth that you need to get it hammered in well is you have to do 2 sessions. I find because I wear down. My filter gets too clogged to do it. But a query I can do, and I can do a query from whatever state it is to ready for an agent in about 2 hours, assuming that everything goes right. But a synopsis, it's too much. Okay, Thomas with her. Okay. I'm sure we need that, but okay. This is tolerable. It's not tolerable. Oh, okay, that's bad. Okay, look at that.
You see that right there? My ankle. Sorry, I had a cat issue.
Yeah, what a shock. Okay, so this language right here is bad. We have it. We need to restructure a little bit, at least something, a little bit of structure there. You see why, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and tell them.
Okay, you want me to do it?
And let's see what's in prison, because that's more sort of. Yeah, go ahead. Explain it.
Okay, so you always want the sentence and a synopsis to go in order. You don't want to end up with back when such and such happened at the end of the sentence. You want to start off with that.
That's the other thing then, yeah. Okay, so here the bigger thing here to me, okay. Amy meets an old friend of her father's, an elf named whatever, I don't care. We don't need it actually. Who has been in prison since he was taken away all those years ago and discovers a second gift. How do I explain it? We don't. How many times we need the name? We use the name. None. No, we use it only once more.
Okay. Only for the Okay.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I mean you don't need them. People think they have to introduce their entire world of characters, and you really don't. I mean, 4 is fine, and then 1 place name really. But the more you give, the more you have to remember, the more you emphasize. You really want to keep the focus on Amy. The more, when you use a name for a character, you're emphasizing that character's importance to the reader, and they think that this person, just being matters a whole lot. But if you only use them twice, not really. The exception would be if you have somebody meet someone important at the end of the book, which would be kind of gross, but it happens. Like some long lost relative they have been desperately trying to find. But
I can't figure out how to flip the sentence. I've tried 4 times.
Yeah, hold on a second. Amy.
Unless I split the sentences. Pretty sure Amy was taken away, not she left. She was
that's 3 or whatever. Yeah, she's not gonna leave it. Yeah. All right, this is placeholder because it's kind of gross. Because again, gift is vague. We don't know what she does. Every magic system is different, so I want the writer to show us this fun. I had one person. It might have been, who was it? Somebody who invented icicle battles, which is a great concept, right? That could be a fun thing to see. But if you just imagine the difference between a gift of ice versus while she's learning how to duel with icicles, that's a fun thing. You want to show your world, right? So gift is a bad word to use it because you can be more, you can build your world there. Yeah, exactly right. Okay. She She did. Okay, she. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And that's escapes the friend. Right. Oh, we actually have more than. Yeah. You can see it. All right. Whatever. Done.
Do we want to put in the
Yeah.
adjective
Keep
elven?
the elephant.
Then
elephant.
we can refer to it.
Meets elephant, an old friend. No.
Are we using the name or not?
Yeah, it's more than I thought it was.
Okay.
I only saw it twice, but yeah, meets elephant. Yeah. We need that.
Yeah.
So
So what Patrick is doing is if a name is used more than twice, then you might want to put it in. Otherwise, an adjective or descriptor for the proper
friend,
noun,
enemy, whatever.
just as well.
It's
names aren't actually important to the plot. They're just important to differentiate between characters.
Yeah, actions are big, but again, the more names you give someone to read, the more they have to keep track of. I worked a synopsis recently. What?
Names are the worst. I hate naming characters. It's so hard.
I worked a synopsis like a month ago, I think, in Human Years. That named, I think, like 12 people, and I was like, "This is death." But the book was about an entire community, and you can't just keep going. The woman, the kid, the whatever. You have to be specific, and it was just so hard to keep track of it all. It was fun, but those are rare, and I hate them anyway. Okay, Amy gets back to who introduces. See, if you do this the once there makes this language less important. So you want to not do that because that way you're, and it gets back to Gaspar, which is a big deal because she's returned to her beloved teddy bear, fighter, human thing, whatever. Who introduces her to
gathered, not called.
Planning, past progressive. We don't need rescue mission. We either to save her or a rescue mission.
Yeah.
I guess.
And this is when we find out that Oak can move and talk and stuff. So luckily we fixed that.
Information. Let's just do this because that's. There you go. Any friends, they show some Carnage. Okay, we can just. This is telling. What you can do instead here to again show your world because you have space and that's the job. Is what does it look like to avoid the main paths in a forest or whatever?
No. Don't eat, Mom. That hurts.
And I'm actually not sure yet that you need it at all, but it's better to have it than not. I'd rather have more information, and that's a lie.
Too bad you can't just put training montage in the synopsis.
Okay. This to practice her gifts, I think, is a little weak. I mean, she's supposed to save these people. Practicing her gifts is sedate language for what she's. I mean, train. And I wouldn't say train her gifts. I just say train. And train and she's from flowers. Into Earth gifts. Okay, she. Nice. Magic or whatever. I mean, okay, she.
Good kitty.
How does she know it? Number one. Still building. Still. Every damn time. There will be. She. Given her in a way. Some gift. We don't see her doing this, though.
Well, she was wandering. Maybe the wandering was also trying to find a way home.
How about that? Maybe, Morgan. We don't know. It's another world building thing. And again, we have space. Because one of the things about this thing is it's not formatted properly for a synopsis. It shouldn't be white space. It should be indents, which saves a pile of space. And also, you can condense some of these paragraphs in terms of like losing the paragraph like distinction at all. She meets. I don't see why we need these. Maybe captured. Okay. Okay, I think it was saying this twice. So if okay, so basically, if this information about her past is her connection to Alaric, which is vague here, and I would think you'd want to make it clear because the job is not to make the A plot clear, you can just toss this here and lead straight from teaching her about her connection, and you'd want to be specific with that. If it's other information, I don't see it in the synopsis, which means that it's important enough to mention, but not important enough to detail. I'm not sure we need it. Either that or it's simply incomplete world building. I can't tell. About...
I'm assuming Alaric is the king just because of...
Yep. Yeah, I know from the query that it is. Because I worked the query, it came to us with not a lot of detail, and then I did my thing, and I got a fire hose of detail, and I cut it from 500 words to like 210, I think, something.
It's really hard to strike that balance between too much and too little, but specifics are what make you stand apart. When you go generic, you sound like anything.
Yeah. And I'd rather have like a 400 word than a 50 word. With a 400, I can chop. A 50, I can't. I mean, there's only so much I can do with brackets, you know. For anybody who hasn't seen me work, when I have a question, I don't know what it is, I have to like present it in a sentence sort of contexty thing. I'll just use a bracket with a comment, like whatever verby thing or something, to hint at what I need to know about. One common thing I'll do is bracket whoever does a thing, just to structure the concept of it there, because people are really bad at telling me information I need, and they're really good at giving me information I don't need because they're too close to the material, and that's an everybody problem, not a specific people. I think I've seen less than 5% of the queries I've worked, and that's more than 1,200 queries over 4 years, have given me essentially everything I needed to know, because people just don't know what they need to tell me. One second. I think I'm out of frozen cherries, so I switched to mixed fruit. It's still it's unfreezing, which is good, because trying to eat a frozen peach is a little hard. Okay. Dungeons. Oh, no. Stop. No. Battle is your verb, not your noun. Somebody fights, right? That's your verb. Yep. They fight, blah, 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 escapes, whatever. Yeah, you've got. So that's one of the deathy nouns need to be verbs in almost every instance. The only exception really.
Company battle against Alaric and his guards.
Or just fight them. Yeah, fight
Alaric wounded and Amy free for now.
Wounding Amy and freeing. Well, wounding Alaric and freeing Amy. That's leaving him with is just we can be more active than that. It also saves space, but the bigger thing is you want to show as clear of a connection, because at this point this agent is not getting paid to read this at all. This agent is tired. Okay, it's probably a little worn out, right? You want to make this as easy as possible to understand. The more words you use, the greater the odds it's something part of it's unclear. So they fight, wounding a thing and doing something else to somebody else, right? As clear as you can, and then that's it. Because agent queries are on there at the bottom of those things to do, and a synopsis is just it's hard for anybody. So you make it as clear as possible.
What about Karn protects itself and its inhabitants, comma?
Instead of trying to do it, whatever you're gonna do, just do it. Do it.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry, this last sentence screams, I am book 1 of a series.
Yeah, and does. I'm not sure. It's an interesting thing. I toss the for now. We don't need that lack of resolution.
I tossed it.
Yeah.
Bring Amy for now. And the Forest of Karn.
I don't remember seeing this in the book. Is it before? Where was this before?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. All right. So that's. I don't know. It's not that I'm not sharp, but this doesn't make sense. See, this is again this world building. I mean, how? Like.
something. I assume that can go in earlier when she's hiding and doing her training montage.
I think that it's not there because it's supposed to build tension, because in the query, the issue is that she thinks she doesn't have time. And so she has to decide to, fight this guy or not. That's my guess anyway. We don't have the writer here, so we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read through the Carnage. You ready for me to read through the Carnage?
I mean, this is me we're talking about, so.
I'll do it as fast as I can. So Emmerdale Stone is growing up, adverb hiding, with her aunt and uncle in a small town. After her birthday party, she lies down to sleep. She hasn't had a nightmare in years and doesn't need her teddy bear Gasper, and wakes up on her 16th birthday in a forest. To make matters more confusing, she watches as her teddy bear, which she's grown up with, grows right in front of her into a full-size live bear. She's watching. It doesn't have to be right in front of her. Okay. Torn between curiosity and fear, Amy lets Gasper lead her to her first sentient knowledge tree, Oak. Amy holds her questions in and learns that she's in Carn, a world separate from what she knows. Her aunt took her from it when she was 3. Her parents lived here and died helping her escape. Gasper announces he is her guardian bear and he exists to protect her. In Carn, some people can do magic, but no 2 people do the same thing. Gasper tells Amy that she can do something with air. Someone expects her to, some hero thing, probably kill the Mad King because she can use magic-y things. Yep. Amy befriends a nymph and travels throughout the woods of Carn with her. Before being captured by the Mad King's guard, trapped in the dungeon, Amy meets Elephant, an old friend of her father's who has been in prison since Amy was taken away years ago. Also, she discovers that she can do something with fire. With a fire blast or whatever, she burns the doors away and escapes with the friend, with Elephant, the friend, in the night. Elephant shares information about the past and what her parents were like. Amy returns to Gasper, who introduces her to people he gathered while he was planning a rescue mission. Oak and Gasper share bits of information with Amy, not wanting to overwhelm her. With her allies, Amy shows avoidance, builds the world, gaining time to train. And on the edge of the Black River, she sparks life into flowers, discovering her earth gift. For the next months, she hides in this forest, strengthening her air, fire, and earth magic. Amy knows she will discover a special stone gift, but is no closer to discovering it as she is to getting home. In her travels, she meets with 4 other knowledge trees, each with their own purposes. Amy does something careless, and her friends are captured and taken to the castle, but to bedrooms, not the dungeon, enabling Amy to learn how she is connected to King Alaric, and she's furious her friends didn't tell her. Amy and company fight Alaric and his guards, wounding Alaric and freeing Amy. Someone tells Amy that when she was safely hidden in the forest of Carn, it was hiding her from whatever, giving her the one thing she needs, time. So, still a little clunky, but as a first draft, I think, get in there. Definitely get in there.
It gives you a solid footing, and then you fill stuff in and you hone from there. Yeah. The good thing is we did need to cut a lot. Imagine if that had been 1400.
All those verbs. Look at all those verbs that are in there now.
I've highlighted a noun down here.
Okay, so next up we have a query. Dear X, due to your interest in something, I think you'd like Hill Dwellers, an adult dark fantasy completed 85,000 words. It's a standalone with serious potential that combines the urban fae vibe of Holly Black with a small town siege of The Crazies or 30 Days of Night. Kieran Owens spends most of his life in Liscannor, struggling to prove the existence of the fairies that nearly killed him when he was 5, a quest that's alienated him and stagnated his life. Only he knows the creatures below ground are killing tourists and turning his home into a ghost town. To stop them, he needs is a way in. Evie unravels after her mother's death, leaves her confused and adrift. Dormant childhood memories of fairy in her garage don't help. While soul-searching in London, a strangely familiar woman with violet eyes enchants Evie to a coastal Irish village with a promise of a good time. When Kieran warns Evie she's following a fairy with deadly intentions, the two of them are swept into a violent plot. The long-exiled fairies want their land back and offer the stragglers the choice: abandon town by sunset or die. When the people who took her in refuse to run, Evie chooses to fight for them and for Kieran. Vindicated after all these years, Kieran is ready to run, but being right means nothing without the possibility of the life he's wanted so desperately, something he can only have if he and Evie both make it out alive. I'm a senior editor for a memoir bookmaker with my MA in writing. In my free time, I study languages, Irish and Italian currently, experiment with vegan cookie, and try to get my Yorkie Piper to stop barking at people. Thanks for your time and consideration.
All right. Whew.
It's not bad.
It could be worse. This person, I think this person actually went through my checklist, which is good. Because when people don't, it hurts a lot. We have a couple of nouns here that just are gonna kill me.
Yeah, we cap locks titles in queries, but not names. So
book titles, yeah.
Yeah.
I see some people like getting that exactly wrong. It's hilarious. It's like there's some person out there giving bad advice.
So our person is here. This is Neuraxis 7. This is mine. Not prepared, but prepared.
All right, good luck. I'll try to be nice, but I just my mental filter is not really that operative right now. Okay, so this is a progressive action, and this is Backstreet, but it's tolerable. Is this where the book starts? Just so I'm sure of what happened, because people, especially in fantasy, people can. Oh God, that's all right. Okay. So I need to know, for one, is this where the book starts? Because I've seen fantasy queries that start like with backstory. They don't get into like chapter 6, and I want to stab them.
Gently. The manuscript, not the person.
Yes, the manuscript. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you. That helps me, because now I don't have to break anything. Trying.
Wait, trying is better than struggling? I thought
struggling implies some success, though.
Does it?
You go. You want it? There you go. Take it. Okay. All right. Hold on.
I mean, he hasn't drowned or been laughed out of
town. I see. Okay. All right. Okay. That's all right.
Sorry.
This right here alienated him, and we need to start with this because he's alone in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Correct? Because of this, you see, basically has like no friends. He's just, people see him as a sort of deranged person who thinks, okay, start with the fact that nobody cares about him or trusts him, right? Because if he's isolated, that gives us the number of characters in fiction or nonfiction who are likable because they are unloved is robust, right? So let's start with that. Nobody believes or cares about Kieran Owens. Is that accurate? That's a different yes.
I know. I took it away.
No, that's yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. Good. All right. Yay.
Yes.
He's spent most of his life in this kind of struggling to prove that when he was 5 years old. He was 5. That's no way to cast it though. Fairies tried to kill him.
the others? So I'm going with only he believes.
He alone believes.
Ah, yes.
There's only he. You can have there are two ways to parse it.
Right.
You can have only as in the only person, or only as in except, basically.
Right.
But he alone is. It also, I think, sounds more dramatic.
Right.
Okay, so. Okay, below ground, huh?
The Fae live, I think, below ground in this version.
Okay, that's I didn't. Will a reader? Is it reasonable to assume that someone who represents dark fantasy will know that fairies live underground?
There is a myth about the Fae, about why they're so mad in Ireland. Like the famous myth is that there was a treaty, and they said that they could have half of Ireland, and then when the victors picked their half, the humans chose the top, the half on above the ground, which they thought they were going to choose the left side or the right side or the north, and instead, yes. And Norexus says, yes, I use that story. So that is for anyone who is familiar with Irish mythology.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I don't read fan. I don't know if you caught this before, but the free square on this bingo card for this show is I don't read fantasy. It doesn't interest me. It's people like it. Great, happy for you. But it just does nothing for me. So.
And as always, I am the genre expert.
It really, compared to me, a bumblebee would be a genre expert. But yes, and especially Fae, I just cannot do it. It just no. So anyway, okay. Oh, my big question. We have Kieran beginning one paragraph and then Evie the next. Is this dual POV?
I assumed so, but yeah.
Because I don't see it in there, and if it is, you need to say that.
Yes. Yes,
it is.
Dual
Okay.
point of view.
All right, thank you. A dual POV about fantasy. An 85,000 word. Okay. You don't have to say complete at. People do sometimes in successful periods, but like it's complete. That's why you're querying it. So just tell us the word count. Because if it's incomplete, then you wouldn't be querying it unless you were me back a long time ago when I didn't know things. I queried long ago. I queried an incomplete book. Yes.
Was it nonfiction?
No. It was me not knowing how the business works. Fortunately, I got a partial request and nothing more. My only request ever, and it was back when I didn't know how queries work. This was so bad that I queried five agents using in the same email. They could see each other. It was really bad. But this was 10 years ago. So I mean, I know more now. My lone pages request ever. That was fun. It was really a bad book. So bad. Okay. There must be some sort of locking mechanism thing that is keeping him out of there. Whatever. This is we have unravels and confused. That's the same thing twice basically. Evie is confused about I needed to show these things because I don't know this character, so I don't know what if she's confused about, like her mother's secret butter recipe or what.
I thought she just life became too much for her because of the trauma.
Can't tell.
Okay.
And I have the right here, so I might as well ask.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And now you
but it's also you're telling me.
Yeah.
It could be worse. It could be Evie is affected by that doesn't mean that's even less. But I mean, giving any character specifics as long as they're repeated. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So she. Okay, I think I understand this because a similar thing happened to me recently. Not with the
Evie
death.
is confused about her childhood after her toxic and the truth after her toxic mother dies. I don't know.
Is she is she having trouble swearing her mother, like when you're supposed to be sad when your mother dies? That's what normal humans are, unless they have awful mothers. So it's part of the issue for her that she isn't sad that her mother's dead, and that she feels guilty about not being sad.
And maybe doesn't know what to do without her. Now that she has options, now that her mother's not telling her what to do.
Okay,
so your part was spot on. I was still adding. Yes, not knowing how to deal with her being gone, and they never reconciled. Torn between relief and guilt.
Okay, I need to understand why this is, how this relates to the
I guess I'm sensing a lot of gaslighting.
I don't
So trying to remember what's real and not. Okay. The death triggers the memory resurfacing.
Okay. Is there a memory in which this feels like therapy almost? Is there a memory for Evie in which she has some faith thing happen to her? I hate that word so much. And her mother says something dismissive or whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, that helps me. I thought it was. It just didn't know for sure. And building off that with the emotion involved, the bracketing, if I'm wrong about that, the route that I would take would be the difference between doing Kansas City and like Beirut, basically. It's just I mean, if you have a huge pile of emotional trauma and you're continuing with that versus going somewhere else, the difference is huge. Which is why, again, bracket editing, it's so limited. Okay, yes, okay. Okay. Let's see what doesn't miss, especially. Okay. She is worse.
And whatever thing happened doesn't have to be something, a single incident. It can be after she escaped her mother's clutches, after she moved out, or, after her mom blew all her college funds on whatever.
Yeah. And also it might die in a subsequent editing, because we have to have a picture of what things happen, and from there we can condense stuff and use modifiers or stronger verbs or whatever. Like it's easy for me to imagine this, the red part there that you see, the 3 lines of text becoming a line and a half once we get down to editing the thing down, because we have to understand the world before we can boil it down, basically.
You can't edit what's not on the page.
Yeah, exactly right. So we poof it up.
There's a reason they always say that.
We take it up. I take a query up from 220, 250 roughly to 350 or so. And then once you get everything hammered in, you know exactly what happened. You just cut down. It's a lot of fun. Confronting. Okay. Dangling modifier time. We were just talking about Evie, right? And her mother?
Yes.
While soul-searching in London, a strangely familiar woman, blah, blah, blah. Who is soul-searching in London? Evie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a dangling modifier. This is the most common grammatical error that I see in queries. I've seen it dozens of times because the reader fills in the information the way that they expect it to be. It's like a drop word. You could, or an inserted word. You can have a double A and a. You can have. We do that, and I guarantee you, 90% of readers would not catch that because they read what they expect to be there. But the other problem here, okay. This is a fact, right? We need to see her going. We need to start engaging with her agency and her world by deciding to go from where she is. We don't know where that is right now, to London, okay? Because that shows her choosing something to do. Because who goes grieving their mother by flying off to London or whatever? Pretty uncommon, right? Okay, so.
I know what you're doing with enchants because it is magic, but enchanting is usually a thing that is done to someone or an object, not like changing their mind. Enchanting isn't a mind changing or sort of verb. So I'm going with entices.
Unless the oh yeah, enchants too. I'm not sure you can. Yeah, I don't think enchants is a verb of transportation, is it?
No.
Yeah. We
Kelly
have
finds it very enticing.
yeah, that's a good one. I almost thought that would be that was nonlinear, but I think it's tolerable-ish. Oh no. Promise is a verb there. What?
I have a question. For our writer, it says with the promise of a good time. That phrasing, especially where I'm from, typically means sex. Is Evie planning on having sex with this strangely familiar woman with violet eyes? Or can we change up the wording to something slightly different than
anything
the
else?
Promise of a good time.
Yeah.
Okay. If it is attraction,
that works reorder because we need to have promises her. Yeah.
Then the innuendo is perfect.
Because this right there is a verb. You're hiding it and you're obscuring agency. Which
promising is a good time. There you go. Is that how I would verbify it?
Hold on. Meets exchange who. Travels. Better? Yeah, my concern while I was doing that was all the she and hers, but I think it's okay. Okay. Why would okay, hold on. Do Kieran and Evie know each other before this? Because I have not seen anything linking them. They have both had experiences with Faye. Okay, thank you. So that's so.
How about the coastal Irish village of Liscannor, and now we bring it together.
Is that what it is? Because I don't know.
I'm assuming.
Okay. Is that accurate? Is that? Yeah, you did. You did or.
Sorry. Yeah. So. Yep. He lives there and she ends up there, and that's how.
All right, cool. That's fine. Okay, so
we'll just spell it out, and that way we're good. Oh, wait, this is okay.
Yeah, now we have this. So this to me, the problem here to me, this makes them look familiar to each other, and they have no idea who they are. Okay, so we have established semantically. Hello, Erica.
So maybe Kieran spots a fae being followed by a human.
A human following a fae, I would say.
Okay.
I'm not sure actually which agency was focused on there. Spots a fae. He warns the human following it to blah blah blah.
Right.
That whatever one of them tried to kill him, whatever stuff. Kieran spots.
Neuraxis says he's tracking the humans that he believes are being lured to the town by the fae.
Okay. I don't. Do we need to know that or not? I'm not sure.
I mean, we already established he wants to stop the people.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Tourists, so I think it's established.
I think it's enough. Yeah. The two. Okay, this is vague.
Do we need to say a woman, or can we just say Evie because we just described? I mean, is this?
We can. I just was trying to establish Evie.
Right.
The lack of familiarity there. Because imagine that you're that woman, and some dude goes, "Hey, that's a fae. A fae tried to kill me." My first thought, if I'm that woman, is get away from me, you crazy guy.
Right.
And you might also be drunk, or otherwise, whatever stuff is happening in your head. Because, duh. So that was just to establish the lack of familiarity there with those two folks. Okay. All right. The two of them.
I don't think he's warning of specific that one tried to kill me. I think he's saying
a thing tried to
they are killing people in my town.
Okay, is that the
above he believes that they're killing tourists and turning his home into a ghost town.
Okay, so
he thinks it's widespread.
Okay, they have been Is that more accurate?
That fairies had been killing tourists, not villagers. Catherine Faye herself would like to say, "Woohoo! Dark Fae stories. I enjoy reading them."
You can have all of mine. This is I'm amazed I've gotten this far through a Fae story. I do. Imagine the worst possible thing for me, Morgan. Would a Fae prologue that's full of nouns.
I love nouns.
Yes, I know.
Neuraxis appreciates your sacrifice.
Okay. 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 This is vague, and we have no agency, and we have no idea what the thing is. Vague. Okay.
As they try to escape, they find out that the fairies want their land back. Exiled beneath the land.
Okay, this happens a lot. So we have an unintroduced plot element that we're trying to now make important, and we need to introduce it earlier. And the other problem we have here is we have Kieran's stake sentence. We don't have Evie's. We have for each character, you have to have a stake sentence. It can be combined. It's fine. I've seen it done that way. I've seen it even vaguely, but you need to have Evie have to make a choice, and Kieran must make a choice. So it's a basic.
Evie has found something to stand for.
Well, we have her choosing, right?
Right.
But we don't have, she needs to have to. And for them both to. You can do this. It's just boring.
How important is it to the plot that people took in Evie? Or can we just drop that?
So if you drop that, then you have, I don't like it as a part of the stakes anyway, because she's done there for 4 seconds. We haven't seen them do anything aside from exist with a roof, which is not, to me, all that compelling. If they had been deeply inconvenienced, if there was someone, is a long lost cousin or whatever, if they did some other significant thing, or if there's some emotional bond, then that works. But as is, this is just an Airbnb with people in it, and that's not really compelling to me. What I'm waiting for here, honestly, who is that person? I know that person. Okay, all right, have fun. We'll
feel better soon.
Yep. Okay, within the first third of the book, is there any romance?
I figured it was a romance when,
well,
Evie was fighting for Kieran, and it was dual point of view.
Yeah. Within the first third of the book, is there a hint of the romance or not?
True. Queries are only supposed to cover the first third. Okay.
Yeah. I don't care about I don't care about the rest of it. It's like in a later book, they don't even care. You could have like electronic cockroaches that wouldn't care. Okay, so there is. All right, so we need to have that in.
Then maybe an adjective about the human, maybe the cute, the pretty, the compelling,
Yeah,
the gorgeous. Just to show that there's some level of attraction right when.
Yeah, and we also need to have the romantic thing up here, because there's been. It's not surprising to me that Boy Meets Girl is the Fae thing, whatever. But we also don't have any note in the metadata about it's a or some language up there that suggests it. Because if the stakes in it is going to involve the romance, that's a big part of it.
Do Holly Black's urban fae stories have romance?
Morgan, you're asking me if a question about fantasy number 1. Number 2
I was asking the audience.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
and secondly, the difference between paranormal romance and urban fantasy is I not my line, but I stole it and I love it, is that urban fantasy has a chick with tattoos on the cover, and paranormal romance has a guy with his shirt off on the cover. But it's mostly, the difference between the two is if the romance is the subplot or the main plot. But typically urban fantasies typically have a romance in there. Yes, the Tithe books do. And I think most of hers do. So the comp should be useful for the agent if that's what they.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
So
looking up the comps is the last thing I do, because I just don't know anything about this stuff. Like, I know what it should be, but I don't know the books.
Catherine says that people in Pitch Wars have been saying that they basically wanted a synopsis in the query letter. That's not what queries are for, but this is publishing. Everyone uses words and means very different things based on their own personal preferences.
Beliefs about yes. It's the variability of definitions is really something.
I shake my fist at the sky.
I'm not entering this year because I don't have anything ready. But if I had something, the opacity of the requirements and the variability of things would be a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Because I need things to be concrete. Because I'm human, I think is a pretty universal desire.
Having found a cause, something. So Catherine says, my query letter has gotten full and partial requests from agents, so I think it's okay enough.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad to not look at it then. You can just not even ever show it to me.
I actually have had to go at one of Catherine's query letters at a workshop at a conference like 3 years ago. I don't know if that's the one if that's the story she's working on right now or something else. I know it was like 3 books ago. Amy says, Tutors is challenging, ready for 2021, but the submission process is challenging. Oh yeah, you know it. That's how Patrick and I met. Catherine says, but it's interesting to hear what others think good queries are.
Well, I have that whole ecosystem stuff. I've read hundreds of successful ones, so that's I look at the things that got past the Goldie and the trends and those, and it's.
He has a spreadsheet. It's glorious for people who love spreadsheets, which are, all right-thinking people.
I read 400 plus of them, and to me, 90% of them sound the same. It's just verb after verb after verb after verb, which is glorious to me. And it appeals to my desire to just punch. There are those that don't do it that well, or that don't do it, and that's as long as the job of the crew is to get an agent, however you do it, I don't care. But generally, clear agency, building tension throughout.
Yeah. You ready to hear the
I
final
don't
version?
think we need. Okay.
Because you like X, I think you'll like Hill Dwellers, an 85,000-word dual point of view adult dark fantasy with a romantic subplot. It's a standalone with serious potential that combines the urban fae vibe of Holly Black with the small town siege of the Crazies or 30 Days of Night. Nobody believes or cares about Kieran Owens. That's because he spent most of his life in Liskenner struggling to prove that when he was 5, fairies tried to kill him. He alone believes the fey creatures below ground are killing tourists and turning his home into a ghost town. To stop them, he needs a way in. Evie suffered under brief specifics about toxicity mother for years. Now that her mother is dead, Evie is emotionally adrift because she can't grieve for someone she doesn't miss, especially when they never reconciled after Evie left town. Worse, she's now dealing with dormant memories of herself confronting a fairy in her garage and her mother totally gaslighting her. Evie goes soul-searching in London and meets a strangely familiar woman with violet eyes who promises her a good time if she accompanies her to Liskenner, a coastal Irish village. When Kieran spots a fae, he warns the gorgeous human following it, Evie, that fairies have been killing tourists. The two of them are swept into a violent plot. She has violet eyes, so the fairies were exiled beneath the land long ago by the early Irish settlers or whoever, and they want their land back. They threaten to kill the stragglers if they don't leave town by sunset. Evie, having found a cause, chooses to fight for the villagers and for Kieran. Vindicated after all these years, Kieran is ready to run, but being right means nothing without the possibility of the life he's wanted so desperately, staying in town and making friends. Something he can have only if he and Evie both make it out alive. I'm a senior editor for Memoir Bookmaker, and I have a master's in writing. In my free time, I study languages, Irish and Italian currently, experiment with vegan cooking, and try to get my Yorkie Piper to to stop barking at people. Thank you for your time. So let's see.
That's a good start. I would say at least 2 more drafts to get this to where it's ready to cut, frankly. because you're going to blow up to, I would say, probably 340. Amy, what's the word count on the pitch of yours? And what's the genre and age range?
Thank you for letting us do yours, Neuraxis. I think we had fun.
Yeah.
And Catherine answered my question about what she's querying this year. It's Mystic Emporium and the Goblins Underground, an upper middle grade contempt. This year I'm submitting a upper middle grade sci-fi horror novel around the veins of Animorphs plus Goosebumps.
I know both of those. Yeah, those are iconic. I would not use those in the query, either of them. Or maybe
right,
only
but
one.
They work great for a Twitch party.
Oh yeah, for a pitch. That's great. For a pitch party. Yeah. Amy, what's the word count of your pitch, and what's the genre and age range of the book?
Do we have it in here?
I don't think so. I'll look, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I had one from Adrian and one from Lynn. So
I don't see other new comments. Okay. That's 60. That's tiny. Okay. I wouldn't go more than 250 on that for a pitch, because 60 is you're condensing 20K basically. And if you can condense 20K into sub 200, there's problem probably with how well you understand the core issue, plot line, whatever you want to call it, in your first third. To get back to Neuraxis, you want to do it right now? We can. Okay. But if you want to continue with this, that'd be great. Privately though, unless you want to keep doing live stream. But if you don't live stream, it's going to take like a month to fix.
Okay, I'm going to check my Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
Haha, new message request. Because we're not friends, I forgot to check my filter.
Yeah, I keep on. My notifications keep breaking, and I just keep on not seeing things for days.
I know where my filter is, and I checked it earlier today.
I don't have anything, which is good because what the hell is this?
Okay, here, let me paste it in at the end. Whoop, jump to the end.
Okay. Right. I can take a look at it real quick, and just tell you what's wrong with it from very quickly. Okay. Okay, that's verbs.
Here,
okay.
Sorry.
Yes, I got. Okay.
Editing.
Okay.
Cat, do not eat my ankles. I will spray you.
Mad Libs, Cat Edition.
Sorry. We were having a discussion. Yet again, Catechus continues to not speak English. Okay, so which one are we working on right now? Did we
I'm just going to do it real quick. I'm not going to mark it. I'm just going to do real quick what's wrong with this thing.
Okay,
sure. Okay, seals. Okay. Okay. That's actually mostly fine, I think. Let me look at this is a little, I would say it's a little short on the pitch. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Somebody just might go, okay, I need more. Because 140 for a YA or adult is really tiny.
Yeah, I think that the real thing is anything under 65K is a hard sell right now.
Is it? Okay. I know that what the spreadsheet goes back like a decade. Oh, is this adult?
Yeah. I would
assume. We didn't need that. Yeah, we need the genre and the age range in the thing. Okay, is a.
I mean, it's short for YA too, and it couldn't be middle grade. So
young adult contemporary. Okay, this is placeholder, but just the basic idea is that what you want to do. It has its. How do I say it's ton of assumes that that's the only award-winning series she's made. Freelance. Playground.
There are 60K books, but most of those were published in the 60s or earlier.
I don't know if the boating isn't a big theme in the book. I would just toss this entire thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a call thing, maybe, but not like if it were set in Florida, then the information about Florida or the Gulf, whatever, might be interesting might be relevant to, because then I worked with a guy like a month ago who was writing a book and set in central Pennsylvania, and he has lived there for most of his life. So that was a core part of the bio, because that place. But if Florida is not the setting, it's just a fact about you that I mean, saying where you are is enough. You don't need to say where you're going to move to or whatever.
Unless the mentor or agent specifically says that they live in that place or they went to school there. In which case, that'll be your sideways slide in.
An interesting thing, but probably not going to get you a request.
The story is set in Florida.
Is it? Okay, that's.
I mean, Ozarks. It does the elements of Ozark setting, so.
Okay, so that's. Yeah. Say it.
Ozark setting.
Elements of Ozark setting, but it's set in Florida, right? We just said that?
Yes.
Okay, use Florida wherever. All right, that's a very quick. I'm just gonna. Look where do we? Loyalty. Verb.
Yeah, because.
Fear. Verb. Okay, that's just a real quick thing. And let's get back to the next thing here. I would expect that
in Florida.
What's up?
I'm a little confused.
That query with the word count concern.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know enough about the word count to say, but I will tell you flat out: if you do not include the genre and the age range, agents will form rejected because they can't prove they rep it, and if they can't prove that, then they're spending their time saying they might not rep, which makes them no money whatsoever. So you got to include those things flat out. Just like you got to include the character's name. I don't think I've seen a successful query that does not contain the genre, the age range, and the word count. So, you're in editing again, not suggesting. Okay, Mercy now. I thought we wouldn't have enough. We're not going to get us through all this. That's fine. I think this is this starts with a log line.
Do not scratch my chair, honey. I am getting really annoyed here. I am in editing mode. It looks fine. I switch back to suggesting. Okay, thank you. But I'm in suggesting. Why is it doing this?
Try reloading.
Yeah. Oh, Amy says definitely YA. I left it out because I'm only querying the YA.
Okay, that makes sense then. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I was just saying, like, for agents in general, like if you would like that query looks, you'd probably get requests. Well, maybe your request rate with that would be not as good as I could get it, but probably pretty okay. Again, the length is going to be interesting.
Rivel Tara says it's because one of you put the whole thing into suggestion mode. Suggestion mode just turns my edits into comments or not. It doesn't.
Yeah. And it's a one person at a time thing. Like I'm always in suggestion mode for stuff because I don't want to delete anything that I end up needing. Okay. Oh, no, yeah, you need to accept the change of adding the entire query there is the thing.
Ow! Sorry, somebody just bit my shoulder.
Yep.
I was not giving him enough attention.
There we go. You should be fine now.
Okay.
The entire query was in suggestion mode, so you were editing a suggestion from yourself, which means just editing. So you should be fine now.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right, let's see. We still have this flitting from plot point to plot point, and this is okay. Are you back? Okay, yeah, that works. Combine sting and thing. The blah blah and the blah blah. Combine sting and thing. Yeah, toss the width first place with the hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, combines it. Yeah, you combine ham and eggs to make a whatever thing. Yep.
Yeah.
If it were has the, maybe it would work, but no, it's
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we happy with it?
I mean, as a very, very, very rough. I mean,
yeah,
for what I do, but I think a lot of it works well enough on its own. I don't see the need to really overhaul a lot of it. There's some parts that the verbs just to show her processing things as opposed to just listing facts about her. But I mean, I think if you sent that to 10 agents with a viable first chapter, you'd probably get a request or two. The verbs would just make it that much more enticing. Okay, this is. This feels like a parachuting in here.
I would rather my cat sit on my lap when he demands attention than bite my shoulder. I'm glaring at you right now.
Yes.
But he does lay in front of me when he wants attention, but then when I reach over him to reach the keyboard, he bites me. So. Okay. Where are we now?
We're working Mercy. It's on page 3 of this thing.
Sure.
Just below the faith thing that we finally escaped.
So, 5-year-old Mercy is not alone in her body, and it might not be hers for much longer. The voice in Mercy's head, the product of buried trauma, is getting louder and more demanding every day. Her mother is busy being perfect and getting migraines, and her stepfather is always gone. So when the voice becomes real and takes a name, Jade, Mercy must face it alone. If it were only an inner dialogue, maybe she could handle it, but it's also Jade. But Jade keeps finding dead things and taking over Mercy's body. She brought a squished mouse to school in their pocket, and Mercy suffered for it. Jade is scary, but maybe she's not all bad. She's brave enough to kiss their friend Damien and collect interesting animal bones to paint. As their mother battles a terminal illness, the girls build a tenuous friendship, but they yearn to be seen and known separately. Mercy imitates her mother, baking pillowy bread at 3 a.m. and bleaching her scalp raw. Jade tries to catch wild animals to hug and clings to her mother like she did even before evil ever touched her. When the girls accidentally kill an acquaintance's cat by accident and Damien is blamed, remorse and grief shatter the girls' fragile bond. Their forgotten memories are starting to resurface, and Mercy and Jade had become too different over the years. Each fights to lock the other away and take possession of their body, and their internal battle is spiraling outward. Their war could split their family and friends apart and drive away the very people they long to keep close. If either girl stops fighting, she will vanish, but without the other, the victor might not survive at all.
Remind me, this is YA?
I
have to look it up.
I don't know.
It's
adult.
Adult? Okay, that's...
Each child is child Sigwes. Each child's, I guess. Adult lit fiction. It does sound kind of YA-ish. It doesn't have to be YA just because of the ages. It's about who has the locus of control. Lynn says 5:30 is going to come early tomorrow.
Okay. I actually worked a lot of this in a different group like a year or so ago, so that's why
yeah.
I mean, you see all the verbs in here, right? That's not an accident.
We need to show time passing in
yeah.
that.
Yeah, we do. Because the kiss at a fight, I'm not sure, you know. Did we have Forgotten Memories? Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. It's from a while ago. Wow, this is a big pull.
Each child's, I guess, suggests how about over the years the girls build a friendship instead of the mother disease thing.
I would, if it's the book, then that might work. It's just starting at a 5-year-old. I don't have a lot of experience editing a 5-year-old query. I need to know more about
how fast is the aging per chapter?
5 to 12. 5 to 12. Okay. As a YA, that's.
I mean, there are adult books about kids.
I know. Yeah, what that? Yeah. What's his face? The Andrew Vox writes about kids, and that's not a picture book right there.
A Child Called It.
Pelzer, yeah, I think, right? Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was, I think, the 3rd worst case of child abuse in California history, documented at least. His mother was
a piece of work.
That's yeah. Anyway, yeah, I remember reading one of the. Anyway, getting back
as a starting point and worse things from there.
God, really something. You have to really want to suffer to read that stuff. It's really. It starts off pitch dark and gets way darker. Okay, so. I remember writing this. Like, this is what I wrote a year. I mean, if I found this person's name and went back to my documents, I'd show you. Like, this is literally like what I wrote. And the funny thing is, I think it now doesn't work because
you learned. And you have more experience.
I do. I have a lot. I'm way better than I was in February. God. But the thing is, like, who have they tried to keep close?
I mean, Damien and their mother.
Their family and friends apart. The only family that we see more than once is their mother, who is dying, and we deleted that detail because it doesn't reappear. And it complicates things a lot. and their friend is Damien, who appears once, and Jade kisses him, and that's it.
I mean, it's their friend, so I assume a budding romance there.
I don't know if I'm not sharp enough or what. I don't. Also, I don't have a lot of experience editing my own queries from a year ago. It is a little bit of a problem. I don't know that we even need. Let's try that. Does that work?
Yeah, I think so.
Because what we have, honestly, is a fight between these two girls. They start out opposing each other. They come together some. They start slowly apart again. And everyone else is sort of a scene character or a plot element rather than an essential thing.
Do we want to explicitly say she's brave enough to kiss their friend Damien and sparking a relationship or something?
Right, I understand that's the external, but we haven't. Just again, it might just be that I'm not sharp enough right now. That's
the whole battle is internal, though, so
yeah.
I don't think we need external stakes in this one.
No, I'm not sure we do either. I mean, convincing someone that they don't need the robust stakes that they have can be hard. Have you used this query? And what's your request rate been? Okay. 30 and nothing. All right. Okay. So maybe we don't have the external stuff set up enough to justify it, and probably the internal might work better. And then in the pages, yeah, I feel that. And then the pages can just be more. I worked on a fantasy query, about 2 weeks ago, where the stakes started out pretty robust, and we cut it down to this girl has to decide whether to embrace her inner light or her inner darkness. Made it entirely internal, and it works because the whole first third is her trying to make herself good and just finding how bad she really is. So it's purely it got external notes, but they're all subservient to the internal main focus of the stuff. That's the thing I posted today, the advanced query stuff, and how to fix it. Because sometimes you honestly have to drop plot elements so you can focus on one solid plot track. And seeing that can be hard because you're so close to it. Okay. But look at how much we left in, because again, I remember writing Baking Pillowy. I remember reading that a year ago.
Okay. Maybe I think it's time for a stretch break real quick.
I think I've already stretched twice, but go ahead. You need to get up and yeah. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you want to do more on this, or if you want to throw things at me. That works too. I know some people. It's impossible that everybody likes what I do to their career. It's just not. That's just not non-factual. But I don't think I left many brackets because, like I said, let me just do a thing right here. Let me look at the word mercy in my documents. Or no, I won't have it in here because I wasn't doing documents at that point when I handled this last time. Because I only started using documents for this in March because someone, yeah, that's just that. Yeah, I only started using documents for this in March because someone was okay, cool. Because one of the people in the group I was in at the time said, all you're doing is showing them you can write better queries than they can. I'm like, you know what? Just to show you, I'm gonna just go through and make and suggest everything and just go here. Why don't you do this? Do you see why this would be better? And that is where we got how we got to this part where instead of just being in editing mode, we do this. As I choose my let's see this. Let me see. That's annoying. All right. We're gonna go to. I can't. Can I? Start. Okay. What's the adult? That's why. Okay. All right. That's cool. Wonder if cool. 8 people watching. Great. All right. Here. Okay. Okay, I think I see how to fix this. There are a couple of presentation issues that are uncommonish. A couple of verb things. Showing of the magic, we need to do that. That's easy enough to do. And then the stakes is not, I don't think it's a decision. Yeah. Yeah, the stakes decision is not a decision, which is a pretty common thing I see in queries. Easy to fix. You just have to do something differently. So not a problem. I'm gonna get up a little bit because Morgan gave me a stretch break. So we'll fix. And if you're here, I don't know if you are, but we'll fix this. Well, at least we'll get a solid first round of notes on it tonight because this I see how to fix this. I've done stuff like this before. Who is this? Just see. Who? Okay. The reason there is a G in gnome is the same reason there's a G in pygmy. It's the word. Came from that same root. So that's what that is, in case anyone was wondering. I got a like on Twitter a minute ago from someone who in her bio wonders why there's a G in gnome. So if she's actually serious about that, that's the reason. The reason that so many words in English have silent letters has a lot to do with spelling reform. Could, would, or should used to be spelled differently aside from the first letter, and then the reform came and said, well, since they sound the same, we should make them look the same, and that's not how words work. Similarly, for a long time, ear of corn and ear of human were spelled differently, and they have unrelated roots. Now you know. We'll do that now.
And I'm back.
Hello. I think this query starts wrong. I think it has information scattered all over the place, and we have to rebuild it.
Okay.
So I started to do that, but now you're back. And if I do it like for you to do your reading the query thing, you'll be like with and then like the next word will be 3 lines later because I've just redone everything. So
okay, I'll read as fast as possible.
I think
in a city where magic users are marked for death by the gods, Sayer was given 72 years to live. His baby sister only got 10. When their time runs out, they will be hunted down as sacrifices during the 28 days of slaughter known as the Blood Hours. After watching the rest of his family die, Sayer is desperate to protect his sister, even if it means giving up his long life to enter her in her year of the hours. He began killing other magic users intended for sacrifice, knowing the punishment was 1 year taken for every death. Now 21-year-old Sayer hopes that together they can do what very few have ever done, survive. But the death Sayer has caused have unintended consequences. When a priestess comes on the first night of hours to take revenge for her brother's murder, she brutally kills Sayer's sister. Lost in his grief, Sayer harnesses the taboo magic he's barely used, but is unable to control it before the dark power fully consumes him. A woman, Ever, frees him from its grasp. Though she has her own motivations, the two slowly grow to trust each other. When Ever really reveals there may be some way to bring his sister back, Sayer is given a second chance to save her, but first they must both win, and to escape the priestess and everything she represents, Sayer needs to master the very power that once marked them for death. Even the gods will not stand in his way. The Blood Hours is a dark adult fantasy complete at 107,000 words. Its cutting prose compares to The Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and the themes of survival, grief, sibling bonds, and the acceptance of power liken it to The Deepest Blue by Sarah Beth Durst. It includes plus-size body representation and bisexual representation, which are communities I identify with. I am a debut author using the pen name Anne Fox when not writing. I am usually making TikTok videos, lurking on Twitter, or hanging out with my husband and 2 cats. Was that fast enough for you?
That was. I hope you appreciate how I avoided laughing because it sounds so different from in a city where magic users are marked.
I don't talk in slow motion. So Amy says, thanks so much to both of you. I definitely gained a lot of insight into in editing my query prior to submission.
Good luck. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, so I think we have to rebuild this damn thing because it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this right here. Does that seem like maybe it's a little important to you, to the reader, to Sayer? Why is in the second paragraph? This guy has watched his family be slaughtered. Okay. Motivation.
It's because paragraph 1 is setting it up, but I don't think we need that much setup. I think we can.
I think we can show it with the Blood Hours thing. With Sayer has Sayer. I'm gonna say Sayer because it just okay. Sayer has watched his
Let me take myself off mute. I'm a little confused. Is he trying to kill so that he'll die when his sister's supposed to be taken?
Yep, that's exactly it. Because yep. See that right there?
Oh yeah, to enter her year of the hours. There we go. Yeah.
There's so much going on here with the plot that it takes a while to get to that. Like the entire backstory takes that much. Yep. Let me see that. Thank you.
Gotcha. That's a lot of murders.
Yeah, it is.
I'm assuming they're less than 10 years apart in age. Because, you know, if he was 50 when his sister was born, it would be a lot easier.
I'm not sure I introduced that well, but it's a placeholder for now.
I think instead of year taken off his life, I think allotted years makes more sense.
Fine, yeah.
Because everybody's life is being cut short artificially. So
yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
This is a concept rewrite. This isn't necessarily exactly how I would do it. Isn't it misspelled? Yeah, it is. That's what's up. But just to show you how I'd begin with different information, because to me, the trauma of watching your parents get destroyed is more personal, and it's more directly affecting because this is fundamentally sort of one guy trying to buck the system. It's not necessarily about the system; it's sort of about this one guy struggling. In a small way, it reminds me of the Hunger Games because one person trying to upend the system. And in that story, we focus on Katniss, right? So this thing now is focusing on Sayre and his family, right? Does that make sense?
Also harkens back to Logan's Run.
What run?
I said it also harkens back to the classic movie Logan's Run.
Oh, I haven't seen that. All right, that's okay.
It's from '76. I saw it once, but basically, everybody has the ideal life until they hit like 30 or 40, and then everybody's killed.
Okay, that makes sense. Then. Let's.
Murders?
I don't know how to do it. I mean, I'm going to leave it for now because I can't figure out how to fix it, but it reads weird to me.
Murders come back to roost. Or
Please
whatever that phrase is.
Chickens come back to roost?
Isn't that a phrase? Isn't that a thing people say?
You go ahead and look that up, sweetheart. Okay. Revenge was murder. She slaughters. Okay.
It is a statement.
Okay, good. I'm happy for you that you got something right.
That says chickens have come home to roost normally means that bad things that someone has done in the past have come back to bite or haunt them.
Right, yes, but you said murders, not chickens, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
It's more precise. I was going for precision there.
Let's do that, sure. The murder coup. Uh-huh. Do you see what I did there with the
Yes. We use a stronger verb instead of a
modifier.
Adjective with a verb.
Adverb, lady. Did you do that on purpose?
Did it hurt?
Yes.
Because adverbs describe verbs and adjectives describe nouns. And we all know what I'd rather be describing.
Nouns. Yes, all the time. That was the shortest did it hurt ever. Did it hurt? Yes. You didn't even have to get the when part. Okay. That's
Also, it ends in ly, so that should have been everyone's first hint. It was an adverb. I think I broke Patrick.
All right. This I'm not sure. This is probably okay-ish. It's the lack of agency might be a good thing actually. Okay, type of magic is barely used. I need to see him. Okay, harness is to have some. Hold on, let me just. Verb is to. Okay, the definition of harness as a verb: to control and make use of. If he can't control it, he ain't harnessing it, right? So.
Legit.
Tries to harness the type of magic he's rarely used, but he can't. For it.
Attempts? Which is stronger, attempt or tries, or are they equal?
The longer of a word you use, the more you dwell on it, because you're still reading the thing.
Yeah. Tries just feels weak, like listens or
yeah, it's concept language. If you want to attempts, go ahead. It was just concept language to establish that it's not harness. We're also telegraphing, but instead of
we have to restate the beginning of the next paragraph.
We've got nonlinear. Damn it! No, that's not. That's not the
point. We also can't start a paragraph with the phrase "whenever."
Yeah.
Reveals.
Yeah, that's. We don't need the name.
When she.
Yeah, a woman frees him. Blah blah blah. When she reveals, blah blah blah. Thing. Yeah, we don't need the name. Because again, we don't have. I don't know that we need to make her important with the name.
I don't think we even need this. This is implicit.
Woman frees him from his grasp. I would be good at writing Mad Libs because I can do this just casually.
Oh yeah, no, clearly.
I wrote Parrot Mad Libs one a couple days ago, and it was really disgusting. Okay, I don't see. Oh, this is a stake sentence. I don't see a decision here. I just see him having to do something. Am I wrong? Over there. Before she gets it on her door. All right. All right. Yeah. Give me many minutes.
Is everybody who's condemned to die at whatever age have this same exact taboo power? I'm a little confused by the statement to master the very power that once marked them for death.
What priestess? Huh? Is it? Did I miss something where there was?
Yes. Priestess? Okay. Yeah. The priestess who murders her brothers, his sister.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's the one. Yeah, okay. My wife just came in and was like, "Hey, can you do a thing not a query?" And I was like, that sort of got me unmoored from this thing.
Okay.
And this, I think you can have. This is no more. This on that sentence there on once we've got everything hammered out, that's something we can gash because we don't need all the language there. But I don't. Did you?
So I'm assuming everybody else has other reasons they're condemned for death, but the reason that ever could stop his power from growing out of control is because she has the same one. Yes, no, maybe.
Hold on. I don't. Are you asking me or her?
Her.
Okay, good, because I didn't hear your question.
Okay, everyone has the same magic.
Okay. I don't think this is a stake sentence because I don't think there's an alternative that he faces that has any sort of like compelling thing to it.
They can accept their fate. And
whatever. I don't know.
Welcome his sister in the afterlife. I don't know.
Something. Yeah. I mean, and in some fantasies, there really isn't a stake sentence because it's just they have to do this or they'll die. That to me is incredibly boring because obviously they're gonna not die. Like maybe we should just be killed. Who does
or
that?
Or die trying. You don't think
or
die trying? I mean, if you're sent to war,
it's not a decision. If you're gonna be unless you have a number of lives to use, and you'd get respawned somewhere safe.
But he already made his decision when he killed all the people to enter the year. That was his decision point. Now he has to live with the repercussions.
Which also isn't a decision. What's up?
Needs to trust the stranger? If he doesn't trust her, he can't master his magic and they won't escape.
I mean, usually when I'm working with a writer on this thing, I will say this needs to be a decision. And, what is the stakes decision in the synopsis? Yeah. And that'll make it real clear. But I think that Anne told me that she read my checklist and made sure that everything was fine. And this is the second time in a week that I have had someone say that, and then they come back and ain't no stakes in it, lady. So I think I need to make the list a little more clear. Maybe bold something or capitalize it or insert a duck gif, which is my thing. But yeah, in my view, this is not a stake sentence because it's not a decision. They have to.
Any thoughts, Anne? She may be like going over it in her head.
Yeah. And if I'm wrong, tell me. I mean, I'm very, as Morgan has seen over the years, I'm particular about many things. And stake sentences are high on that list. Stake sentences, verbs, genre, age range, and word count, telling instead of showing. What else is a really big thing to me? Pitch length, passive characters. Yep.
Debut is something you want to tell your agent when they get to the offer stage, or maybe even before then. But you don't need to put it in the query. And typically, if you're using a pen name, you would just say, "This is my name," and then writing as this, or mention it after they extend, an offer to you before they write up the contract.
The only successful query that I've seen with someone writing as a different name is that what you did there, and that's what I've advised other people to do as well.
Question: Morgan Hazelwood is not actually my legal name. I just leave it off. With the thought of if they come back to me, I can mention it then.
Not your legal. Okay, I'm not going to ask. I think I know why. Isn't it the you got rid of one name when you got married, and then you just don't want to have to deal with the old thing, which I've seen, and I wouldn't want that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legally, I never did the paperwork to get back to my maiden name because I might marry again. So my last name is in flux, whatever. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so. And
I've seen that old thing. I would
Morgan
not
is a public, like, it's totally public. My friends only stuff is off under my legal name.
That's good to know.
So if you'd like to pay me, I do have a PayPal, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, if
that might show up with my maiden name, which gets really weird.
I've seen it, yeah, because it's not hard to figure out, but whatever.
Yeah, no. Facebook will suggest myself to you, and I'm an identical twin, so there's 3 of us.
Anyway, back to the stakes thing.
Yes.
Okay, so the first third of the book thing, yeah. So a book like this will be in 3 acts. At the end of the first act, you get the stakes answers. Do we do this thing or do this other thing? So
I think we're going too far into the story. I think we're at the final stakes, and that's the end.
Is this the first third of the book, or is this more than the first third?
Because if we kick it back to, him killing to get back so he can save his sister. Yeah, Catherine says Catherine Fay is a pseudonym for a husband-wife writing pair.
Okay.
So, have a good night, and you can always watch the rest of it in the morning.
So we need to know if it's the first third. If it is the first third, then we need to either find something.
Yeah.
God, writing it into the book would be so awkward. But it just needs to be.
Oh.
You can try. Okay, good.
This is the first third.
Okay, good. That's good. I prefer that, because otherwise we would have done all that for no reason. Because I've done 2/3 and almost the whole book, and redoing it is.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay, so Diane said, okay, that's fine. Okay, so if.
So it's the first third, and his sister dying is the incentive.
Yeah. Okay. Does he? I mean, what's within the frame of the book?
I think the decision point might be: can he trust Ever, or should he try to escape on his own? Could that be the decision point, whether or not to trust her? She suggests maybe it can be he decides how to learn how to use his magic.
Right. Okay, what if he used the magic? What would he use the magic for? To survive?
To overpower the priestesses and escape from the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, do this. And what? There are 2 options here. You can. Here it is. You can either sharpen the non-stakes to where they look like stakes by making it death or, life or death thing, which isn't a decision, but it happens in fantasy all the time. And I mean,
which totally has nothing to do with why fantasy is not your genre.
No, it's not. It's that it's a bunch of 16-year-old girls who must make a decision whether to save the kingdom, and once you've seen that 15 times, sorry. And adult fantasy, it doesn't do it for me either, because I don't care about there being 15 moons or a dark sacrifice or whatever. It's just the plot elements don't do anything for me. But the bulk of the books that I read are picture books for my kids. And I don't read more than about 1,000 words of anything. It just, anyway. The other option is to, which I don't like to do, refocus the query on a plot element that you introduce and make important. You can make the stakes anything you want. You could make the stakes choosing salt or pepper on your fries. You just have to make it clearly important enough to whatever. But if you want to have it be learning to use magic, we have to see why it is important in terms of like, does he think he stands a better chance of living if he learns magic? Is he trying to honor his ancestry by whatever thing? Like there has to be an emotionally compelling internal reason or an external reason, like the power of it to get him to use. Because maybe he and his sister, for example, making something up, maybe they had trained in physical combat to be able to survive this purging, right? And then Ever says, hey, if you learn magic, you can cast these spells and you can live. And he has to decide whether to abandon the emotional importance. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. All right. Okay. This. Okay.
Maybe.
That's at least a decision. And is that accurate to the book or not? It's a concept, at least. I mean, yeah, I think that's a good decision because the stakes. If it's not accurate to the book, the agent's going to be pissed off. And if it's not accurate to the book, then at some point we'll be refining language that isn't useful, and that's a waste of everyone's time.
Oh, hey.
Let me give you something as a resource to look at for other. This is adult. What the? Really? What the hell happened here? Okay, this is adult fantasy. So Morgan, I'm gonna give you this to give to her.
Sure. But I'm celebrating because I was told my guesstimated stake sentence works. Clearly, I know my genre.
I'm glad give that to her. That's those are examples of successful adult fantasy queries.
Sure.
So you can see that sometimes the stake sentence really isn't one. It's just if they don't do this, they'll die, and that's not a decision. But it is one because I'd like to not die. Whatever. It's just to give you some insight into things. I think that I have never had someone say, no, thank you, I don't want to see successful examples of a query in my genre and age range. I have seen people read the queries and not understand how they work still, but having a resource is better than not. And
I lost your chat. If you could message me on whatever platform, I can reply with it. I don't know which platform I'm looking at.
I think it was Facebook.
Okay.
I'm going to get to the next query right now because we're running out of time. If you want to end, I don't know who. Oh, that's Ray's. Okay, let me do this real quick.
Sure.
This is all okay. That's good. Okay, and that's okay. That's keep it under the. Now? What's now? That's abrupt. Why don't you do that? Okay, she flees. That's information need. Okay. Okay, that's good. The good solid language here. Okay, there are if the death exposes. Okay, when it dies, that's can be fixed, but that's not bad. The process is in this again. That's awkward. The verb have come is awkward there. Answer 4 is vague. We need to know what happens exactly there. I'll do this up fully, probably either tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure I could do it fully tonight, so maybe tomorrow. Fuses let the okay lies is you want to do a verb there. What is this? Is this like 300, close to 270s? 250. That's actually okay. That's not bad.
That's pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Okay. It just feels like a whole lot of like one thing and then thing and then thing and thing without necessarily the
stakes.
It's a lot of plot elements. It's a whole lot.
It's leading into synopsis,
and I'm not sure that I need the sort of episodic nature of this.
Yeah.
Whereas I need to see like the more individual plot elements you have in a query, you're asking people to sort of process a lot of distinct events. and it's harder to do. Imagine if you're to drive a mile by just going straight or taking one or two turns versus turn and then turn and then turn and then turn and stop signs, a bunch of that. That's basically how it feels when you have a bunch of discrete plot elements here. And it also makes me worried that you don't completely understand the core element of your plot here. But that's what she was. Okay, that makes sense. All right, that's just a little.
Or it's just that fantasy leans itself a lot towards world building and stakes, and you have to explain stuff before it makes sense, which is hard.
Yeah, I know. At least this doesn't have Faye or a prologue. Okay, that makes sense. Not a stake sentence again. Not a stake sentence. Between these things, she struggles with what she should and how much she's willing to lose. Not a decision. Meanwhile, this other thing happens, and if she, okay, maybe the stakes is this thing here. Maybe, I'm not sure. It feels like a lot of almost stakes, and you're going almost stakes for 3 lines here. 3, yeah. So I would try to condense that into really extremely clear like decision thing. What I do when I'm rebuilding these things or building them flat outright is I just use now she must decide whether to think, because that language tells the agent, here is the stake sentence for you to look at. Because the thing, what you encounter when you see video after video of agents talking about, hello Jessica, about queries, they keep on mentioning certain specific things like a stake sentence. Okay. And I've been looking at these things for years, so it's the stake sentences have really imprinted on me a lot, along with the verbs. So I telegraph it, frankly. So I'll work. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to mark up the whole thing tonight. I would look at any like important noun in this thing, and see if you can do that phrasing better by having it verb-like phrasing. And the stakes, and I think you can shorten this by about 40 words, because I feel like this, what, Morgan has a face. Morgan, go ahead, Morgan. You had a thought.
Oh, I was just thinking it's already pretty short, especially for a 120,000 word story.
Yeah, 250 is good. I don't know if it's the time or what, but there's
you
just to me
seem like you just hit a wall.
Well, you notice I'm not typing anything. Getting it from brain to fingers is a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, yeah. Because for me to comment like typing anything on this would be excruciating right now. That's why I've been talking through it. It might be the hour is the reason that it just feels like it goes plot point after plot point after plot point. Let me look at this. This is okay. I don't know. Do you know the comps? I don't. Okay. Again, the thing with the pen name is the same thing we did with Anne Fox's thing. I don't know that. Okay, that's. I mean, the bio is okay. I don't know that it's relevant, but it's interesting. It sounds like you, which is good. I don't think it'll disqualify you. I think there are people who. I think there will be agents who won't care, but they won't talk. Yeah. They won't form rejection for it, basically.
Yeah.
And they might
something to put in that paragraph, which I know can be really hard, especially if you don't have like a master's in writing or anything.
I know.
I mean, as I've said before, I have a bachelor's in computer science, and I don't write, coding hacker mysteries. So I don't put that in there.
Yeah. I mention I write everything I write is queer, just because hi. But I mentioned the degree, but like the degree has nothing to do with anything.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you're doing the comps, Do you say it will appear or it should appeal to fans?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I've seen will, I've seen might, I've seen could. I mean, to me, if an agent's gonna get hung up over that, it's not the best judgment there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think is the clarity of the language, and of course the fit, which I don't know. Like I can look something up and tell you if you shouldn't comp it, because for example, you're comping Narnia, and that was 83 million years ago. And you'd want to pair with something recent because it just, it's a bad idea.
At least something published this millennia.
Century, yeah. But like, I think as long as you're clear about what you're doing with it, you're fine. And I've seen people not even do that. I've seen this, fill the fans up, this author and this other author, and it's like, okay, if that works, then that works. Great, go with it. Comps are not my strong. Like knowing what you shouldn't do is a but also like the more you look at comps, the more you see that's really scattershot. I've seen video games comped. I've seen like blah blah blah, but as anime comped. I've seen movies.
I definitely prefer when I see comps to have at least something in the genre comped with something, maybe a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
I've flirted a couple of times with my YA fantasy of comping, the magic of Last Avatar, but clearly, or Last Airbender, but clearly that's too popular, so that got dumped. But then again, I've used Frozen a lot, so
which for Twitter pitch is fine, but I've written the next Frozen. Is what you sound like, but it's
no, with the sisterly relationship of Frozen.
Yeah, that's.
So I definitely enjoy the call outs to what the aspect of, and you've got that in here. So snaps from me, and Jessica over on YouTube will say it will appeal. You tell him.
Ooh, let's look at this next one for a minute. I have something to show you there.
Yes. Okay. Dear potential.
First of all, it's our third queer one in a row, which is great. I love that. We could do a queer one. We could just do an all queer helpline. But look at the sentences in that first paragraph.
Waking up as roadkill sucks. Just ask Superbike star and club owner Sunny Knight. She had big plans, grow her fortune, expand her club, and marry her girlfriend Lucy. Instead, fate slams on the brakes. She's accidentally involved in a military convoy hijacking and wakes up on the roadside with a serious case of bugs on the brain. The convoy was carrying high-tech nanites who escape and crawl up her nose. Sure, they save her life, but they aren't right in their little mechanical minds either. Shit gets deeper when La Bamba, the bomb-happy villainess, blows up Sunny's club. Before Sunny can say boom, La Bamba kidnaps Lucy after she discovers Sunny has the tech she's determined to destroy. Sunny will do anything to save the love of her life, even work with the snarky nanite she'd rather exterminate. But there's a bigger plot in play, one that will force Sunny to embrace her superhero status and all the side effects. It's a race to the nuclear finish line. Sunny must defeat La Bamba or Florida will be blown off the map. Complete at 1,000 words or 100,000. Sorry, I have zero issues. It's a thing. I have to pause and count the commas. Nitrix is an adult superhero sci-fi story featuring strong LGBTQ female characters in a South Florida setting. Nitrix is fast and furious action meets bloodshot science and would appeal to fans of Vicious and Seven Blades in Black. I'm an avid motorcycle enthusiast living in South Florida, wrote as a freelance writer for Rangerosity magazine, and I have a short story published in the 2005 issue of Deep Magic E-Zine.
Okay.
This query pops. Oh my God. The fact that you don't have offers pounding down your door.
So I'm going to disagree.
It's that voice. Oh, you hate it?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to just point out one thing to you, okay? See that sentence? See that sentence? See that sentence?
Oh, yeah, no. There are definitely fragments in that first paragraph.
See that sentence? That sentence. That sentence. That sentence.
There are a lot of fragments.
You can use short sentences, but it's like any tool in your toolbox. If you keep on using the same length of sentence, you had that, you need something else.
Wait. Can we use an M dash here instead?
M
dash. You want M dash.
Good. I'm glad that you want to read the book. That's great. I've seen many people be like, I want to read this thing, and that's nice. That's good. You're not an agent. I'd want to see the first page of this thing to see if this is how it sounds. Because if this is how it sounds, then and if you find agents who are looking for this, then do it. That's great. But like, because I like the first sentence is great. It tells us what we're going to be in for. But the number of short, when I was in elementary, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I had an English teacher, and one of her rules for writing: no short, choppy, monotonous sentences. And I'm not saying these are monotonous, but the length is, if that's how the book sounds, great. But you're gonna have, I would bet you'll have, go away from me, moth. Agents who'd be like, okay, all you do is write this one sentence length or this other one, because if you don't have, if it's either less than a line or it's a line and a half, like that right there, and then that right there. In a normal query, you'll have a greater variety of length there, because again, once you've used that, you can't just keep on using it because it gets monotonous. But I have to look up the page of it. And usually it takes me about 8 lines to judge whether I think something's working or not. Okay. The verbs are solid. The language is clear. You've clearly got a lot. This is a lot better than.
I love the voice. Bomb happy villainous is a great adjective choice.
Yes.
It's very precise.
Now I don't want, let me see. Yeah, this does not have most of the uses I see with careers, which is good. In terms of, like I said, if you the agent who's looking for something that sounds like this is the thing. Because if you have a list of 10 agents who are looking for this thing, I would query them tonight. Because if you're looking for this one thing and you have this one thing, then do it. Like there's this stuff. I was directed to some writer a couple months ago who writes like sort of parody, like it's so bad it's good stuff, and he's written 44 books because people who like that, then good for them. And this is basically that to me. Like it doesn't appeal to me from a stylistic point, but you find agents who are looking for this and do it, because
it was fun to read. I'm just telling you.
That's the job, honestly. Like if you enjoy it, then that's the point of it, right? But there are agents who will see this and be like, you can't write long sentences. And that's a concern for me from a stylistic perspective. But again, if the book sounds like this, then that's the game. And that's the point.
I have to bounce.
Yep, you do. It's 11 minutes past your pretend bedtime.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be.
I can leave you on streaming if you want.
You can, but you'd have to scroll.
I can let you run the.
Unless I don't think that's a good idea, because the next thing is, oh god. The next thing is a synopsis.
You have the brain for it right now?
I don't. This would be a bad idea. It's the only thing I think we have. It's the only thing we have left. So we have a synopsis left for next time.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's. I didn't even mark up anything here, really, because
I might have had. Did I paste
everything
in here?
Lynn, if you want to, did you give me this query? Or did you give Morgan this query?
Me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There is just one more synopsis, and then.
Okay. Let's save that for next time, because that's that. No.
Sure.
I'm not there yet.
That's fine.
Lynn, can you toss Morgan or me the first page of this thing so I can hear how this book sounds? Because if this is how it sounds, then you're. I honestly, again, I would like if this is how this sounds. You don't need anything that we did in that query. Like not one single thing there is something you need.
Because you want the query's voice to represent the voice of the story.
The query should sound like the book, absolutely. And if it doesn't, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
But like you have everything. Your stake sentence is clear. And the thing I liked about this stake sentence, it's all by itself. So you're being like, this is my stake sentence. It's so emphatic. It's great. I spend so much time hunting for stake sentences and queries. To have it right there is wonderful. So again, like I don't think you need anything else aside from things that a particular agent might want to see. Like if they want a personalization, if they want some other thing in here, then do that. But if you have agents research, I would query tonight. Send it because agents. I'm telling you flat out, agents are sitting at are looking for it right now because that's when they they have time to do it.
I do have one question about the query. Lynn mentions being published in the 2005 issue.
Yeah, that's too old.
Okay, yeah.
16 years.
Mention it without the year?
Yeah, that's doable. That was my big concern. I would also wrote as a freelance writer is a little awkward to me. But that's you're not gonna lose you're not gonna lose an offer or a request off of wrote as a writer in the bio because again you got everything else is just right there. Yeah.
Lynn says, sure, I can send it. And yes, good. It's a terse character. I tried to get the voice of the MC in there. And I think
if I see, I think that's, yeah.
So yeah, I would just switch it to, I was a freelance writer instead of wrote as a, and drop the year and you're set.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them, but I have a paying day job that wants me to show up in the morning. So, and I still have my blog post to finish.
And rip at the same time.
Yeah. So I think tomorrow's blog and vlog is going to be why I'm still trying to go traditional instead of self-published. But clearly, those of you who are here working on your query and synopsis know exactly why I'm doing this. So Lynn says, awesome. Yep. Really appreciate the feedback. Thank you for staying up. I know it was like an hour past your bedtime. So I totally get that.
At least it was good news. At least I did not butcher it. I did not tear it apart, which is I mean, I can't right now, but I would have. But the verbiage is really good, and go ahead. If you want to get to bed.
Strong verb usage too. So yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. We should be back next Wednesday, assuming we have more queries and synopses to play with.
Queries, please. Queries.
Queries,
no
yes.
Queries. I don't want to have to dig through all that crap. I mean, I love you, but
yeah. You can find Patrick everywhere.
You're everywhere. You're everywhere. I'm not everywhere. You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Yes.
You're everywhere. True. I'm not deliberately. I don't want to be on Tumblr.
I only repost to Tumblr because it kind of died after they took porn off.
Oh, so like OnlyFans.
I mean, there's still some stuff there. It's just not as hopping as it used to be. So, not that I am. I mean, I don't judge, but it's not my anyway. Thank you all for coming. You can find me everywhere. You can find Patrick. Reach out to either of us at any time. And thank you for watching.
Thanks.
See you again next week.